Hey, what's up, everyone? This is RanDoM, aka Mark RanDoM, rapper, comedian, philosopher, and look, I'm sitting up. You finally made me care for this episode because I feel really bad about this subject that there's guys who have trouble getting dates or getting women to like them, and I would say relationships and marriage, but that's a whole nother thing. Not in this economy, am I right? No, but I didn't know that, and this is very weird. I was kind of blind to that, so I'm going to be giving just my experiences under my life because I see a lot of kind of toxic, ugly stuff on the internet based about like men and women and things like that, and unfortunately, to the Andrew Tates and Fresh and Fit and whatever bros in the world, I'm not good looking. I don't have money. I have no status in the world. I'm not a high status, whatever you would consider. And I don't really have problems finding dates or finding relationships or just a woman to like hang out with and things like that. So I ended up in this pocket of the internet that was really weird, and I would just explain sort of relationships I've had or situations with women, and it was met with this like crazy vitriol. And then I found out that there's like involuntarily people who just have struggle with that, and I guess I didn't understand that was a thing. I was blind to it, so this is I think never, because I've never pursued women in my life. It was always kind of something that came along with the journey. I always believed love is more of a fate thing. Like you meet people for a reason to grow and experience things, and then we're all energy on certain frequencies and things like that. So that's kind of where like women or sex or relationships kind of come a part of it. And I don't just say that. I really believe it and live it and act as if that's the truth because that's just what I believe. So I noticed a lot of guys put this sort of ego attachment to it, and I get it. In biological nature, they feel like if a man is rejected by women a bunch of times, then they're not like valuable for procreation, and then the genetic species of survival, that their genes or bloodline doesn't exist in the future. For me, I just kind of, not to be nihilistic, but see it as we're just one blip on a planet of eternity and infinity, so it really doesn't matter, and we're all just energy and cells of one collective, so like, why the fuck would it matter if I got success with a woman or procreated or got married or not? And it's not that mentality that's gotten me like dates with women or other things. That's the crazy thing. And hooking up with women is seen as a bragging point, and that caught me off guard. Like when I gave the number of women that I've been with, it was met with like anger. It was met with disbelief, which I don't know why you would lie about that. That's a fucking weird thing to lie about. If anything, I would lie about, oh my God, I got all this and X, Y, and Z and everything. Being in these situations and circumstances aren't something to fucking lie about. That's a very bizarre thing to lie about. Like, also, you shouldn't shame people who are virgins if that's where they're at in life. We were all virgins once. Again, sex to me wasn't something to strive for, but it's if they're behind in life, then help them grow, help them because it's a part of life. Having sex is a natural part of life. Being in relationships is a natural part of life. It's part of the progress of moving forward. And I'm going to get into fatherhood and things like that because that's also part of the sort of biological genetic experience in life. So the points I have so far are, let's see if I can work this out Mark RanDoM style, are ego to the malatachment of sex, the sort of involuntarily celibate people, and a spiritual essence to that. I believe sex is a sacred energy, and I don't know if I just fucking said that before. I don't know. Oh, it was the idea that I would lie about that, so I'm just going to say I'm a virgin and have a micro penis, so don't listen to what I'm talking. No, I feel bad for these guys because never make woman your pursuing goal. Like, that's your first mistake. If you're like, oh, I want that woman to like me or I want to have sex with that woman, you put attachments to it, and then you put this sort of like expectation. So you try to plan how it's going to go in your head, or maybe I could do this, and you're trying to control something you don't control. Attraction is fate and it's chemistry. And again, like I believe it's all frequencies and things. So she's either going to have sex with you or she's not. She's either going to date you or she's not. That's not something that you can really control. It either is or it isn't, but you can evolve yourself, you can grow, you can become a better person, and when more women will have sex with you. Like, I noticed there were certain pockets of my life where I was getting a lot more dates and having a lot more encounters with women, and there were times where I wasn't, and what they all have in common is when I was doing good within myself, not even at life, versus doing bad within myself, those are the common denominators. Because again, sorry the Andrew Tates, whatever bros and fresh and fit, I'm not good looking, I don't have money, and I don't have any status. I'm not a high status male. Maybe just don't have a garbage personality and have something to offer, emotionally connect with them, and you can be cool. That's something I noticed about guys, and maybe because I grew up around women. Like, I had female friends since I was a kid, and we would have sleepovers and everything, and it's like guys and girls hung out together. So I understood guys who don't understand female energy. It's almost like a different creature to them. So I'm sitting down. I'm sorry. I don't care enough to propose this to you. No, but it's like I noticed female energy can be foreign to them, so it's intimidating. And you have to realize women can pick up on that. Women are like, they're psychic, even if their brain isn't aware of it. Women can, like, if you're nervous about asking them out or something like that, they can sense that. If you don't feel confidence in yourself, if you're attaching something to it, whether they probably don't know it, but their body and instincts, if you're like, oh, I'm not going to be successful or X, Y, and Z, or if you base your value or self-worth on how many women are attracted to you, that's the mistake I see guys make collectively, and I think it's fucking lame. That's the thing, is there's this ego status. Like, let's say hypothetically I've had sex with 100 women. It's got to be like 150 now because of, all the work and everything. No, but like I can't get this off with a straight face. I haven't had sex with any woman. I'm a virgin. No, but it's like the fact that people will high five, or there's some bragging right to that, to me, that's the first mistake. If you're attaching ego and your identity and your self-worth based on how many women want to have sex with you or not want to have sex with you, that's a mistake there, because that stops your growth in life. That stops you from moving forward. So what I would say to guys is have a goal, have something to reach towards, and have that be your focus. That's like your ultimate desire, because what is existence except a subjective purpose? So if you have whatever your objective purpose is or thing you're going towards, for me, it's personally like to better the world and better myself, to learn lessons and have experiences. So that should be everyone's fucking track. I don't know, one, take care of other people. So that's okay, well, I could just go days for days dispelling all the memes and internet culture myths of things of, like, they say, like, oh, you can't cry around a woman, and you can. You just have to prove that you can fucking protect them in a situation. If, hypothetically, let's say I had a scenario in East Stroudsburg before the pandemic in November 2019 where 3 dudes came with guns and I was able to handle that situation. Or let's say I was at a comedy festival in July 13th, 14th, and 15th where people came. If you can fucking show that because that's the thing, is these guys associate, if you cry or break down or weak in front of a woman, then, because you're emotional or sensitive, you might not be able to handle yourself. Whereas guys say never cry in front of a woman, they'll lose respect for you. And it's like, if you've shown to them consistently that you can handle life or death survival situations, you can fucking cry about a fucking Paw Patrol episode in front of them and they don't lose any biological respect or value towards you, because they know what the fuck you are. They know you could get down like that. So it's like, and that's another thing. Internet programming, anytime you read about what women want or all this other thing, it's lame at the end of the day, because there's all these podcasts and they're making millions of dollars on guys who don't have much knowledge or experience. And then they're selling you this thing of, if you better yourself, you can get more women or you can have more sex. And sex feels awesome. You know what I mean? So I could see why guys would want that. But that whole motive of, you're now basing your whole life, you're exercising, you're getting a good job, you're becoming an air quotes high status male just so you can have sex or just so a woman will like you, that's fucking lame. I'm sorry. You're attaching an ego. You're attaching yourself to this sort of biological cycle that there's always going to be a guy better than you, more attractive, more money, whatever the fuck he has is going to be better than you. So to put some ego on, I'm going to watch these podcasts and I'm going to work out at the gym and all for the sake of women liking me, it's not going to work out, and then you're going to feel miserable, and then you're probably going to be hurt, and then you're going to look at these podcasts of like, what the fuck was I following? And these podcasts, they know what the fuck they're doing. And I always find it funny because they always describe women as bad, but as the sort of thing that they have. Like, Andrew Tate would be like, women only want shitty guys with a lot of money who look like fucking Puerto Rican boxing fighters with a bunch of cars and money with British accents. Or the Fresh and Fit guys are like, women only want guys with a lot of money who have a status in life, and it's have a million views on their fucking podcast where they bring on 18-year-old women who don't know anything about the world. It's every single thing. It's like if I had this podcast, let's say I had millions of followers. I do, because I'm doing Mr. Beast numbers, and I was like, women only like gothic rappers, schizophrenic comedians on food stamps, and it sucks. You can't believe the amount of women. So here's how you guys have to become more mentally ill and become more gothic and weird about the existential crisis of life and end up on food stamps so you can get more pussy. Oh man, that would be so fucking crazy if the world warps, if it's like a World War III scenario, and then that becomes the case where the whole civilizations collapse. So it's like everything's government control, fascism, everyone's nihilistic and hopeless. So it's like women are like, okay, what they'll procreate or want to have sex with who can be the most hopeless guy, who can be the most fucking like Milton Keyes or Darwinian or fucking Fred Nietzsche. I know that's the mainstream one. I didn't want to say Darwin though. Be the most into that vibe. And women are like, oh, he gets this much in food stamps. Oh yeah, well this guy gets government housing. Like it becomes the backward cycle of everything. Because that when guys say women only want you for their money, some women are, but it's women want to be provided for and protected. Some women, again, the biggest problem with the internet is they use all this generalizations. Using the word all women only want you for your money is, you can't say that. And then they'll say, well, the exception to the rule, but hypergamy, women are biologically white. It's, have you met every single woman in the world? Have you had conversations with every single woman in first world, second world, third world, upper class women, lower class women, women in rural countries, women that even aren't even on the internet? Have you had those conversations? You fucking haven't, because you don't know how to connect to other people. It's not even having confidence with a woman. It's just about being comfortable with yourself and the ability to emotionally connect, which again is you have to mentally and emotionally heal in yourself, which is taking a life journey. But it's kind of a mindfuck to say you have to learn to figure out life for yourself, and it's your own journey, but that's how you'll get women. But you can't grow yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually just to get women. Otherwise, it would, you see the cycle it creates? So this is point blank the beginning of the doctrine. Any man who diminishes another man does not belong in masculinity. They use terms like alpha and beta, and I'm not into that furry stuff. I don't know, but people do their own. That's what we should just start saying to them. We should just start saying, I'm not really into the trans pronouns and everything. That's literally what it is the way they hate liberals. Like, oh, you're different pronouns and everything. Well, I'm a sigma male. I only like this and fucking this. Or I'm alpha male and this, because I guess beta would be the worst thing to be. But it's not beta, it's the description and mentality of what that is. And what that is, and I'll describe to you again, A is a man who diminishes other men. The worst type of man that no woman wants to be with is one that diminishes other men, that isn't secure with themselves, that can't protect, and that is looking out for their own selfish needs. For instance, if we're in a control ship and you have to move this forward and there's a conflict, if the greater good is, see, I'm all Star Wars. Oh, I'm talking about sci-fi shit. Women aren't going to like me. No, women if you're just in your zone, whatever your vibe is, just be with it, and you can't have any preconceptions of women are like this or women won't like me if I'm in a video games. You could be in a fucking taxidermy, children animal taxidermy. But if you're in your zone and you're on the point that I'm saying about everything of you're on your purpose, you're fulfilling it, you're protecting, you're providing for yourself, you're a greater person, you strive for the greater good, women will fuck with you. They'll love you just having that vibe, even if you're a, what did I just say? Child animal taxidermist. So that was is this sort of internet generalization of, I fucking forgot what I was talking about. Damn it. See, now women aren't going to like me. That's what it was. No, that's not what it was. This is just me talking till I can fucking figure out what I was talking about. The concept of a beta male, this is what I would generalize as a beta male, is one who only looks out for their own selfish desires, one who tries to manipulate, enable women around them for their own like sexual gratification or benefit, one who does not want self-betterment but who blames others, one who makes excuses, and we're going to get to that one, and one who diminishes other. The moment I see guys diminishing other, that didn't happen, that's not real, that guy only got there because if a guy has ever said in the world, when we're talking about sex, not spiritual purpose in life, when we're talking about relationships and sex, if a guy has ever said, that girl doesn't deserve that guy, or that guy doesn't, you're off the list. You're become one of the like lower common denominators that holds humanity back because you're not uplifting, you're not providing support, you're not providing positive energy, you're not moving things forward, you're pulling it back and you're bringing it down. And unfortunately, because the internet is filled with the majority of those people, they feel like that's the majority. They feel like diminishment is the proper biological human mode of operation, and it's not. That's why they're unhappy with themselves. Women don't find them attractive as much, and they don't really move forward. They just kind of cycle and cycle. Excuses is kind of a crazy one because obviously circumstances happen beyond our control. This is another crazy thing is these guys that want these women that follow these podcasts have such a like myopic 1 to 2 dimensional thing. They don't realize women are a lot more complex. Women can like you, hence like, you know, there's something about me that women find attractive, but even saying that, to think that that's a bragging point, like to think that I'm boasting my own ego or bragging is what puts you in the other category, is if you would sacrifice your life for the greater good, if you would, to your own detriment of ego, admitting when you're wrong, taking responsibility for your mistakes, striving to move forward, striving to help other people, that's a guy women usually fuck with. That's a guy that women are like cool with. And then they use the term friend zone of like, oh, they only like you as a friend. Guys say, oh, it sucks being in the air quotes friend zone. There's no such thing as a friend zone. You showed your feelings towards her. She doesn't feel the same way. Move on. You know what I mean? Like, then the women always say, well, it hurts to know that you're betrayed because you thought you... No, all relationships in some way are symbiotic, which means one's helping the other or getting some kind of need. So a guy who typically finds themselves on the shoulder of life or women's backup, it's because you haven't emotionally fulfilled yourself, so you're seeking that woman to like be the fantasy escapism of your emotional fulfillment because it's too scary to go in life on your own and overcome your own insecurities or self-worth issues. That's the biggest thing with these guys is overcoming that's fucking hard. And again, when I was in places of low self-worth, women would be cool with me, some would have sex with me, but I couldn't get a lot of success in the area. Why? Is not because women suck, it's not because they were superficial, it's not because they only wanted, it's because the energy I was projecting was this kind of low frequency, this I need you to fulfill this X, Y, and Z in me, and you can't expect a woman to do that. And unfortunately, I feel like that's society as a whole. Is society like breaks you in some way to where then you need that symbiotic connection, and because romance and procreation, you know, the systems need that to product forward and build their economy, is then you look for women with that thing. So you have a bunch of broken people looking for other puzzle pieces, you know, that when you find your other half sentiment that goes around. And it really is about finding yourself, fulfilling yourself, and then finding someone to go on the journey with life together and experience things together. You want a woman that both is on your side, but also challenges your perspective so you both help each other grow. Now, a toxic relationship is where all it is challenging, but it ends in that diminishing category, and there's no conflict resolution, there's no communication skills, there's no plan on a better forth growing. But then guys usually are manipulative because then it gets down to that thing of like women lie, men lie. Women, I think the only unfortunate thing women lie more, or no, I could say both, is people don't know what they want in general. They have this idea, like they're shown movies of, oh, I want this or that. Like again, the fucking high status alpha male top G furry convention people that's what you have to be. So they strive towards it, and then they become that. Then they realize, oh, these women only want me for my money. This is actually really miserable. This actually makes me feel really insecure. This makes me feel bad about myself. And it's like, so the thing you strive for and wanted, you got, and then you feel bad about, so now you want something else. And that's the biggest problem, is people are gonna get hurt because women are like, they think they want a certain type of guy because it's this certain type of need that they need fulfilled in them that they don't realize, or they need this certain knowledge that they haven't figured out themselves. So then they get that and then they love it for years and years, but then their wants and needs change. Same thing with guys, and this is why people have affairs. This is why, because they've already built a life together, and so that's why there's side chicks, and that's why there's side dudes, and that's why there's backup girls and backup, and it's everyone using everyone. And this is why I dedicate my life to God, because God won't let you down. Humanity will always fucking let you down. There is no love to be had. I'm just kidding. There is love to be had, but it's not the kind of love you want. It's the kind of love that you need. If you're on this path, the universe will provide and give you these little things here or there. I always make the joke that some of the worst periods of my life, because I was still striving and in the betterment, I had the most sex purely because I thought it was the universe trying to tell me to hold on. It was like a fucking consolation prize. Like, I know your heart's being shattered here and here because you're trying to take care of your family and X, Y, and Z, but here's some pussy here. Here's a blowjob here. Here's a hand job here. Here's a fucking threesome here. Just hang in there, man. You got this. But that's, every guy should be supportive. And when they see a guy with a negative attitude, it should be like, hey man, like, look at things this way. And when a guy is ego resistant to that, their cognitive dissonance, it's like, if you think the same things, feel the same things, and behave the same way, you're going to get the same results. So when you approach women with the same mindset, with the same energy, with the same sort of air quotes tactics, that's the one thing, is it can't be learned. That's the biggest thing to learn from this. I fucking should have put this at the beginning. The sort of energy or vibe, it can't be learned. You can't read a bunch of books or follow. You can't watch a podcast of a guy saying this is what an alpha male is and then mimic that and then think it's going to fucking work. It's not, because like I said, women can pick up on that. You actually have to go on the journey. You actually have to overcome your fears. You actually have to like become one with yourself. You have to not give a fuck what other people think. You have to strive for the betterment. You can't be in that world of, well, if I just get a bunch of money and I read these books about pickup artists and I pretend to be like manipulative and charismatic, it might work on women who aren't aware of that, but it overall is not going to work, and then it'll end up hollow. You'll probably have sex with a bunch of chicks and be like, oh my god, this fucking sucks, this is horrible, because again, sex is energy. Sex energy exchange. I forgot, there's an acronym, and I think Sacred Energy Exchange, and I know exchange is an E. Energy X, and you get what I'm saying, is, and I've always perceived sex like that, but guys and culture in general perceives it as a fucking ego status. They're like, women don't like you, so that if women don't like a person, that makes their opinion less of value. Let's say there's some neuroscientists or archaeologists who studied and figured out the maps of life or whatever. Then they can help us, they can guide us forward and alleviate suffering for a whole mass of humanity. But women just hasn't liked him. He has an emotional or mental brokenness that he hasn't fulfilled. He's gotten rejected. So if that guy's still a virgin, we're not going to listen to him. We're not going to value him. We're not going to put his knowledge on a pedestal. And again, that's where I could say society's destructed in this superficial, artificial. They create, again, they create the idea of what women should want and program them because that's what they are. It's very easy for millions of guys who have millions of dollars and are really famous to say women only want guys with money and fame. Women only want guys with status, because if you recognize what women really want, which is just someone that will protect them, will provide for them, can emotionally connect to them, someone that can guide them, someone that can be in a tandem swing of life with them, and that someone can be joyful about. No woman wants some guy who's miserable all the time. Well, again, it all goes up to upbringing and things like that, but it's like, to put ego value. So, all right, jealousy. If you've ever been jealous of another person, I guess I could take relationships out of this, because women, if they switch men for women in this, it applies. Jealousy is an energy and guys can sense it. No guys like a jealous woman. And then there's the sort of possessiveness that comes with that of, biologically possessive meant like holding together the family, but overall jealousy just becomes a part of an ego because it comes off as insecure. Women have to, and it's just taking part of that conversation. So when you go to approach a woman, or women approaching, is you can't act like they're the be-all, end-all. This is the problem. This is why women act weird, because guys act weird, because guys act weird, because women are weird, or women are weird because guys act weird, because it's a fucking ripple cycle. So guys have to understand how to deal with rejection. And again, this is society putting the ego on rejection. I've been, you know why I've had so many successful encounters with women? Because I've been rejected over 1,000 times. It literally might be 5,000 fucking times if we're counting like dating apps and texting here and there, shit like that, social media. I literally have probably been rejected over 5,000 times. That's a fucking big number. Try to count to that. That's 5,000 encounters. Maybe it lasted a week. Maybe not even that. Maybe just a bar conversation for 20 minutes where it's like, she's not feeling me. All right, on to the next one. But because guys are programmed to believe that ego is, oh my god, the woman doesn't like me, what's wrong with me, oh no, I'm so horrible, and then you get caught in that complex. Whereas if you're always working on yourself, if you're always striving to be like the better male, I'll say higher potential because I don't believe in that alpha and beta shit. Think of it this way, right? If there's a dude, what you all the fucking top G furries would consider a beta guy, right? A guy who's 5'2", a guy who's kind of chubby, a guy who is doesn't have that much money. If he is in his zone, if he just has the confidence, the emotional intuitive, like he's a fucking psychic, if he's just intelligent, if he's just on it, knows the right words to say, knows the right energy to give, and literally cares about the greater good, not just to get sex or people to attention or for his own ego gratification, is literally like on that shit like a martyr, like a warrior, then that guy will have a lot more success with women than the guy that you've had, unless the presumption of women programmed by society. You get what I'm saying? So and also, like, let's take the idea of science nerd beta, fucking surviving the wild alpha, your furry words, not mine. You take that beta guy, he can't survive in the forest. You take that fucking alpha in the forest guy, he can't survive if the world's now technologically, everything's robots, numbers, and codes. So the fucking alpha forest guy will become the beta in the tech world. That's why both need each other for better growth. You could teach me something, I could teach you something, we could teach each other something, we can grow together. It's when guys have the mentality of like hating the other guy because they feel insecure about themselves, so they feel like the guy has something they don't, so they don't even want to grow, they don't even want to learn, they just want to hate that guy. And because there's more insecure, bitter, hateful people, that energy seems to become the collective norm. So then that's what society is, and unfortunately that's what women have to deal with. And now guys like me have to deal with women who have dealt with that. So it's like there's just more fear, there's just more insecurity, there's more people reading all these different studies of men are like this or women are like this. So they go into that hypothetical proverbial interaction with all these presumptions of women are like this. And again, imagine it's psychic. Imagine every time you try to get yourself a date or try to find a relationship or just try to have a one-night stand, some fun sex, whatever, is imagine they're psychic and they can pick up, you're like, women only like this type of guy, or you have any kind of diminished perspective other than, I'm going to see what this individual's about, I'm going to check and see if we click or not. Because that's also the other thing is, and no guys want to talk about this, is how it feels if you don't feel the woman and she really feels you, how to kind of reject that, how to oh, it's not you, it's me, is because because guys are more sexually programmed, majority of guys will have sex with a bunch of women. So women, when they find, they're always kind of accepted, or 99%. So when they want a guy and they're rejected, they don't know fucking how to handle rejection. That's wild and crazy. Guys will be weird and stalkery, but women, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to compare one to the other, because obviously guys dealing with rejection, when they personalize it, is, all right, it's both. If you keep getting rejected by women, like, it's like, all right, if you're talking to a woman and she rejects you, even if she's like shitty to you, like, recognize it's not about you, it's about whatever is going on in her head. But if all women are like that to you, and not just the same bar. If you're going to the same place every night, the same environment, if you're going to different environments, then maybe you need some self-analysis. And I guess this is the balance, is the type where you keep getting rejected, so you get second guessing of yourself and you get unsure of yourself, versus guys who are just sure of themselves and recognize, oh, it's the woman's fault, with no self-awareness. There's a balance between recognizing when you have the issue and when they have the issue, and growing and being a part of life and the overall spiritual good is what determines that factor. So what I was saying is male rejection. So in getting, like when they say women only like assholes, the sort of air quote nice guy is nice guy. Women do like nice guys, but if you say women don't like nice guys, you're being diminishing. They can sense that energy. You're attacking another type of guy proverbially or verbally, so you're not a nice guy. Women do like nice guys, but you mistake, like when they go, women don't like nice guys, they only go for assholes, is no, they perceive their assholeness as confidence. A guy who doesn't really check himself. Like, unfortunately, like I said, women need, most women, a guy to lead the energy. So a guy you will perceive and call an asshole is maybe he's an asshole, but he has a confidence about himself that a woman can guide with, whereas the nice guy, again, is the two self in his head. So there you go. The nice guy shouldn't be like, women only hate assholes and be bitter, and the asshole shouldn't be like, women just want to fuck me, but they'll be friends with a nice guy. Women just want to fuck me at 2 a.m, but they'll go to a bar or a public place with the nice guy. Like, see, you ever think about it from the other person's perspective? That the air quotes asshole guy who air quotes gets all the women, like, might want something more that they're not getting from women. So the nice guy and asshole should fucking exchange notes and not hate each other. Is maybe the quote-unquote asshole guy could be like, hey man, have more confidence, recognize it's not always about what's going on with you, be more sure of yourself. A woman's rejection isn't always a reflection of your self-worth, that's ego, just let it go and keep going. And maybe the nice guy could be like, yeah, but also there's some self-analysis. You can't kind of keep going around diminishing and being shitty to other people because you think you're better than them egotistically, and you get a lot of women and you could chill out, and then they're both cool, and then they both get laid, and then they both get relationships. I was trying to not laugh my way through the concept of the sort of asshole guy who might envy the nice guy. Like, think of that. No one's fucking, I've never seen memes about that of like, oh, women only use assholes for dick. They'll hang out in public with the nice guy. They'll hug the nice guy more than they'll fuck the asshole guy. You know what I mean? But it's looking at it from other people's perspective with the willingness to learn, with the willingness to grow. And people always feel like it's a bad thing if you're like, well, if I need to grow, that must mean there's things that are wrong with me. And it's not. It means you're better than most because you're trying to move forward. But again, sorry, y'all, I could only care for like 33 minutes, right? But what is at the core? Think of all this men going their own way movement of like, women only want you for money, they'll take your kids, they'll take your house. The fucking Andrew Tates of the world, oh, top G, and women are only like this, and you need to be in control and dominant. And the other of women that are like, men are all horrible and all this, it's people not wanting to get hurt. All this energy, these incels of all these pre-programmed facts that they've never experienced in women, they just think because someone told them, is they don't want to be hurt. No one wants to be made a fool of or feel like a fool. And I've had every kind of relationship. I've had women that were cool to me. I've had women that manipulated me. I've had women that played me. I've had women that just had sex with me. I've had women that like boosted my ego and told me I was the greatest person ever. I've had women use me. I've had women be very abusive to me. I've had women where I was the shitty one in the relationship, and I'm still sad about it to this day, wishing I could apologize. But I feel like I would just be like, the best love I could give that person is being out of their life. But I've also had like the unresolved issues of women being not good to me. And also like probably in the future, women will fucking play me and just like lie to me. And, oh, I know what he wants is he has this one thing that he has as an in, so I'll just pretend to be that and I'll lead him on getting the dick and whatever I want. That's it. I don't know. I offer nothing. I'm just bullshitting this whole way through. I fucking have a micro penis. I'm a transgender alien. Illegal alien. No, but it's you can't put an ego on that type of thing, even though society tells you to. Peer pressure does. Your asshole friends of if anyone high fives you, that's why like you've seen the shows about like I'm telling some story about like hooking up with a girl, or like the first time I had a threesome, which was weird because I was 14 years old. I mean, that's the official story. We're not going to say when I was younger having threesomes, because that's people could get indicted for that of like, wait, you were 13 years old and 3 women were having sex with you? Who supervised this shit? What kind of sleepover was going on here? But Mark RanDoM, I'm playing a fictional character. I'm saying these things all for the entertainment value for those on the internet, and this is not to be taken in some legal court used or as any type of factual basis in reality. No, but what I'm saying is I guess that's what it is my sort of like bohemian, hippie-esque, non-ego. Like I'll just ask out a woman, be like, hey, I really find this cool about you. What do you think of this? Or you want to hang out sometime, or things like that. And whatever their reaction is, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Good luck. God bless. All love. And then I'm just on to the next one, trying to find a woman that is my thing. But then other times I get insecure of like, oh, is this woman like, it's just people just don't want to be hurt. And that's where all these things are. And I don't want guys to have that experience, but it's almost like you should have those experiences, because you can't memorize a bunch of facts about hating women or women hating men. Like, you can't just, I'm gonna fucking think women only want you for X. Like, I could say women only want you for dick, right? Let's say because that's happened in my life where women wanted sexual relationships with me, and then I wanted it to turn into something more. And the moment I tried to gear it in that category, it got shut down, fucking ghosted. Just, hey, let's not talk anymore. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like fucking crying. Oh my God, I wanted this to be the one. This is the one. That's my fucking problem. Maybe that's why. Is guys are conditioned and programmed in society of like, you're supposed to date a woman and talk to her and marriage and all that, but they're like, so their taboo is they want sex. But I grew up in my teenage years with like fucking orgies, threesomes, and sex, so I'm like, I just want to get married. Like, or my baseline is, oh, you know, you have threesomes with girls and you get blowjobs, but secretly taboo, I want to go on dates, I want to hold hands, and I want a woman to just hug me and hold me and tell me everything's gonna be okay. So it's like women can read that and pick that up, and you'll just be like, you know, like have sex with me for however long, or just be like, oh, I'm going to pull my friend and my friend's going to be in here and have sex. But the moment I'm like, they can get the inkling and they can sense, oh, he wants this to be like a relationship. Like he wants romance. He wants me to remember his fucking birthday or some shit like that. It's just shut down and rejected, and my heart gets broken, and I'm standing there at the flowers with the flowers like, oh, she doesn't want these. And she, I guess, what would be the typical guy that she would fucking not cheat on me for, because we're not in relationships, we're just hooking up or whatever. What type of, I can't think because it's too in the middle. The point of what I was saying is it's like maybe my sort of like hippie, free love, go with the wind, everything's energy is why I've been more successful, because I haven't gone out of my way to pursue women. There are times it really is just a here or there. And I believe, again, all relationships are fate. And I believe all relationships are this sort of energy connection. I sit down next to someone on the bus. It's a decent looking woman. I just start talking to her. If she has like a shirt on that she likes, I read the vibe too. That's what you have to do. A lot of guys get in their head and feel like, oh, the woman doesn't like me. But also, sometimes guys think the woman likes them when they don't, because that's just their narcissism at play. They're like, yeah, she's really into me. Yeah, and it's like she's just been being nice and trying to be comfortable. And I guess this is the defining factor of why I've had 100% success and 100% failure, is I will literally like break all the social convention back. Am I reading this wrong? Like, are you cool with me? Or am I just in my head thinking that you want more than sexual? You get what I'm saying? And she'll like, no, it's just, I was like, look, just tell me so I know, so I can go forward. Is complete honesty. And that's what would make all these things better. People would stop getting hurt if everyone was just honest. But the problem is, a lot of guys can't walk up to a girl at a bar and be like, I just want sex. Just like I can't walk up to all the hoes I mate and be like, I just want a marriage and a fulfilling life and someone at the home when I come back from work. You know what I mean? So it's always the opposite with me. Everything's the fucking inverted backwardsness. No, but it's that's my I fucking lost my train of thought. No, but it's this and no, but it's that. But is honesty and knowing yourself, because that's the thing is people wouldn't get hurt if people were honest, but it's like humans kind of can't be honest because they don't know themselves. Like a woman will think she wants something but then meets them and then it becomes something and then they're like, oh, I want something else. But that's all a part of the journey, which is why I do it backwards. Is I believe you should have sex on the first date, because then you get the real them. You don't get, it's like that Chris Rock statement of like, when you're going on dates, you're not meeting them, you're meeting the representative. And it's true. That's why I'm great in relationships, because I'm intuitive. I pick up of like, all right, what is their love language? What is their sentiment of love? What do they need? What can I provide? I literally like start conversations off with women of like, what are you looking for? All right, this is what I'm looking for. But again, chemistry decides that. So if we're looking for the same thing, what can you provide? What can I provide? What do you need? Do you know what you need? Have you had experiences where you knew what you needed and didn't get it? Have you had experiences where you thought you wanted something and got it and turned out it wasn't? Like literally like fucking having the ultimate communication, like I'm solving a fucking puzzle, because I don't want either of us to get hurt. I don't want either of us to waste our time. But then again, existence is just wasting our time. Like, what are we here for? Like, we don't always get what we want. Life sometimes always spirals and throws us curveballs, and sometimes things happen. So it's like you need ultimate communication and ultimate to be on the same page. But in order for that, you need to be honest, which again, society and cultural civil like convention is based on dishonesty and these sort of incentives and these sort of like nuances and conversations. So you kind of have to be psychic about being psychic, because people aren't going to be honest. And it's like, yo, just be honest. That's what it is also, I only fuck with honest people. Like a woman to be like, yo, I want to suck your dick, and I'll either be like, cool, or I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? Like I can't do that. Well, maybe you come over and it's like, are we doing this or not? But again, I also say like no pressure if not, because I know sometimes like you get a vibe and then you're just feeling it. Like you want to plan in the future, but you kind of have to take it moment to moment, because there's times I've been with a woman where I'm like, oh my God, I've been thinking about her for months. We've been texting here and there. And then I get in the situation. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to have sex with her. And I go through with it because I'm nice. You know, I don't want a woman to feel rejected. You know what's funny is that's a true story, but again, the guys who think it's egotistical and bragging is, I'm very sure a woman has done the same thing for me, where she wasn't 100% feeling me, but she's like, I'm just gonna have sex with him and make him feel better. I don't want him to feel bad. A pity fuck. We've all been there, right, fellas and gals and trans? Yeah, see, I'm progressive, adding trans in there. No, but it's this, but people can't be honest because things are always changing. So it's, I guess maybe there's core honesty, or maybe that's just the bullshit I get off if I want to fucking like, oh, I'm totally down for long term, and then I just start playing these chicks one by one. I'm just kidding. I can't do that. And again, I'll be selfish by saying I believe in karma. So I'm like, listen, female, I'm not playing you and manipulating you for your benefit. I'm doing it for me, because I don't want this shit to come back to me in the future. I don't want to lie and manipulate a girl for a relationship or sex that she didn't, then I led her on, and then later I get led on by, no, I'm just kidding. It's because it sucks to be heartbroken. It sucks to be lied to. It sucks to have your heart broken. It sucks for someone to be mean to you, and it sucks for someone to break your heart. But it's like, let's prevent that from happening. But the way you do that is by communication, by honesty, by understanding the other, by getting on the same page, by having compassion for the other, by trying to find a solution, not by diminishing, thinking the worst, feeling horrible, and just putting up a guard and manipulating. Like a lot of people are like, I'll pretend to love them because I don't really want to love them, because then I get all the things I want from them without having to give what I can give. And it's like, relationships again are fate, because like everyone factor all these sort of memes of men are like this or women are like that. They're not factoring all the people who have had loved ones that have died or have had spouses or have had children. So then they like shame single moms, or they shame people that are like decided that they don't want to be in relationships, and they're like, you should. It's like, it's not a one size fits all. So this is the biggest problem with these like whatever bro Andrew Tates, they have this idea of what a biological woman is. And I get it, culture is programming women to be sluts and whores, which is going to diminish their sexual value. So I get they're trying to stop that, but they're also trying to control it. It's a woman's decision to decide whether she wants to be a hoe or not. And I know cultural is programming her, but not everyone is built the same. There are hoes and then there's housewives, and you gotta let hoes be hoes, and you gotta not shame hoes. I think that's the thing, is there's this social taboo, and it's creepy because again, on the podcast within the past, it's like if a woman's like, yo, I love sucking dick, I suck two guys' dicks at once, everyone, like, guys get this creepy, like, predatory, oh, I could fuck it, whereas I'm like, all right, that's cool, that's her thing. Like, if I could be a part of it, cool. If not, then it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? Like, guys, the maturity level, that's what it is. Maturity and growth is what needs to happen before people can kind of figure out what they want. It's not a one size fits all, and you can't say this is what a slut is. Hoes can be housewives and housewives can be hoes, and it's all about what people are comfortable with. They're like, oh, judge a woman's past, don't date a woman with OnlyFans. If you're cool with a woman with OnlyFans, then you're cool with a woman with an OnlyFans. And also, like, women don't have to not have an OnlyFans just because they're like not want a certain type of guy. It's all convoluted because you're talking about billions of people and you're literally basing it down to one or two. It's literally setting two lines that a billion people, billions plural, have to fit into, and they're not. There's going to be dudes that love helping women make their OnlyFans. But again, I think they're trying to protect. There's going to be guys that are uncomfortable with a woman making an OnlyFans, but they're not going to want to say anything because that's the first time they've ever felt love. So that's like the new trend of women just, oh, I think we're polyamorous and all that other stuff. And the guy doesn't want to lose his fucking house or his marriage or his kids, so he goes along with it. Then she's like fucking a whole bunch of people and his heart's shattered inside, but she doesn't care. It's caring about the other person not being hurt, but then people, again, they care about themselves being hurt. It's almost like there's one parachute, and instead of men and women figuring out how they can get out of the burning plane with the parachute together, they're both grabbing at it, of saying, like, women are like, no, I'm polyamorous. Secretly, I just want a bunch of backup guys so I'm not heartbroken. Guys are like, no, I'm just hanging out. I'm not looking for a committed relationship. So they're just like playing women here and there. It's people just don't want to get hurt because it sucks. So there needs to be honesty, communication, but then again, sorry to the whatever bros, Andrew Tates and Fresh and Fits of the world, furries, pronoun people, it's not a one-size-fit-all. There's some women that just love being hoes, and you shouldn't shame them for them. But then again, you shouldn't celebrate them. Like I said, those creepy guys are like, all we want to hear is her talking about sucking dick because she sucked over 300 dicks. And it's like, there's more to her than that. And if there's not, then there's no problem with that. That's what it is. I think is they put sex on this kind of either pedestal or this taboo or shame, and they don't just see it as like a natural part of life. And I've always seen it that way. To me, sex is the same thing as like eating with someone. It's like sleeping with someone, like in bed, or it's like hanging out with someone. It's just a natural process that you do with the chemistry of being attracted to someone or someone you like. Like, you give them that thing to like. So that's why it's creepy and egotistical when guys say they get sex from a woman. Oh, I got laid last night. Like, she gave you something, meaning you pulled off some fucking magic trick that you got from a woman. To me, it just leads to dysfunction and toxicity. Someone's getting hurt in that scenario, and I don't know who, but guys are like, fuck it, better her than me getting hurt. And women are like, I played him and manipulated him, better him than me. And I'm like, no, just fucking stop hurting it. But then again, my whole let's not get hurt, let's be honest, let's communicate, let's make sure we don't hurt each other is how I get fucking hurt all the time. So fuck it, now I'm just cold-hearted to these hoes. that's another unfortunate thing is guys who try to be the asshole is like, you can't. I've had women call me an asshole before. You're a fucking asshole. You don't care. And it's like, no, I do. I just can't care to the extent that you need me to care. So we should change the situation or things like that. Is you can't be anything. You can't pretend to be anything. You only can become it. Like, you can't be like, I'm going to be, even though I'm the nice guy's shoulder to cry on, you can't, like, I'm going to just treat women like shit and they're going to like me. It doesn't work like that. And it might once or twice because there's some weird women out there. Shout out to all those weird, freakish women that just like weird, random, nonsensical shit. That just give love, because that's what it is to me, is you're giving love. If women are fucking thousands and thousands of dudes, it's like that's making thousands and thousands of dudes' lives better. Conversely, I guess the ultimate would be emotional love. If guys are just loving women, just giving hugs and kisses and self-betterment, that makes the world a better place. There's no way that giving love doesn't make the world a better place. So that's why it's just, to me, I'm very, very liberal with it. I don't know, like, just relationship dynamics are strange and all that other stuff, but it's like, I didn't mean to say that. I just did want the train of flow to thought. The train of flow to thought. That's what it is now. This is the train of flow to thought. The train of flow to thought, because I lost what I got because I was talking about, hoe and slut doesn't rhyme with ought. So I could say, thought, but I didn't want to use a 2022's spot, something in the top. Now here we go again with the plot. He needs to rhyme, so that's how you know we're back on the pod. But it's not a pod, it's a docu series, because we're going back and forth off these series. And now I could say I'm doing the fucking Eminem 2003 Op You rhyme scheme, and it's going to be brought up every fucking episode or session until I mention what happened to me with Hazy Records. Again, that's a callback from a callback session of... You have to watch other episodes in succession because they go back and forth in progression. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. And the thought of train is what it was. But so people are trying not to get hurt. But you need to be honest, but people don't know themselves. But yeah, so to me, sex was always just not like a giving, but just like a, hey, I have food. If you want food and we connect well, if you like this kind of food and you could give this kind of food like that, like it was like always like doing someone a solid or an exchange that you were cool with. So I never thought of it as this like egotistical thing, or I never thought of it as this like addictive, needy thing. But I get it because it's biologically wired in us. So I never felt weird towards a woman who, like, if I found out she was a slut, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, let me hit up her DMs, like, or I wouldn't be like, oh my god, let me shame her at that. Guys are intimidated by women who are hoes because that's one thing they can't control. They can't control their desire to want sex. Like, a woman could be like, I want to have sex with you, but I want to have sex with a bunch of other guys. And that's, again, now we're going to hate on the whatever bros Andrew Tates of the world. Is, do you know why women who aren't biologically wired to be hoes become hoes? You don't. Is, again, they always say, you destroy the pair bonding chemical, but they never thought that that woman was in such an abusive relationship but couldn't let go because she committed herself to the sex of that one guy. So she realized, I have to have sex with like 20 dudes to just break the bond I have with this one because this guy keeps treating me horribly. I bet that was never said on any Andrew Tate podcast, Fresh and Fit, or whatever bros furry pronoun podcast, that women will become sluts that aren't biologically wired sluts to break a pair bond of a toxic relationship. And also, sometimes being a hoe is fun. Sometimes you got to go through your hoe phase. No, I'm just fucking around. But yeah, that one statement is true. Conversely is, guys, I guess, what would be conversely, women don't understand. A guy who gets his heart broken is a different being. It's like, it's identity shattering and then just builds up a different being. And this is the problem. This is what I'm saying. Like when I said, guys, you can't fake it, is it's like, you can't fake being more protective or guarded or more intelligent. You can't watch a bunch of podcasts and memorize a bunch of things and kind of come off cool. Is it actually, you just actually have to learn the lesson, go through the heartbreak, fucking cry every fucking day for months and months and months, pick yourself back up, pick up a new trait, rebuild your identity, and then you can go about the world with that. And that's that emotional protectiveness, is a woman realizing her rejection or her having sex with you is not going to emotionally like fall back on her, like you're going to be possessive over it, or you're going to be hurt by it, or you're going to react weird towards it because you've been fucking shattered, you've been heartbroken, destroyed, you thought you were going to marry this bitch, you even maybe felt like, I'm going to take her last name, I love her so much, and just fucking annihilated, and now you're back being single. You fucking had the dream of the purple house on the hill, and she fucking destroyed it. And then you're just the guy that you always envied or like pretended to be. You become that, and you're like, wow, this is fucking miserable. I wish I was back to that air quotes nice guy thing. Did I do an hour? So yeah, 59. I just needed to go for one more minute. I just needed one more minute and I fucked it up. So yeah, to be a real person, I can close with that. Not man or woman. Self-betterment, not selfish needs. Always looking at the best of people. Always being self-inventory and being honest with yourself. Always learning, always striving for a greater good, not diminishing anything. Raising your own frequency in life will get you more success with the desired sex that you want. I can't promise it'll get you a marriage, long-term relationship. I can't promise it'll get the one-night stand. But it'll get us something, and then you can learn from there. And then that something will help you learn from that. But it's also, again, karma is like, you really need to truly embrace like the karma of that. If you're getting that one situation and you're not happy with it, or if it fucks you over and then you try to fuck it over back, that's the worst shit ever, is when you try to be spiteful, like get your heart broken, so then you're going to be shitty back, or you're like, I've been hurt by. When you generalize, you're taken out of the growing forward pool. When you fucking assume, when you prejudge, when you do all these things that lower your frequency, when you diminish, you cease self-evolution, which means you're going to end up in the same situations. The only way to get your desired goal is to find these different experiences and learn from them, and the only way to have these different experiences is by just focusing and maintaining this pure goal, this betterment of yourself and betterment of the world, and being a cool person overall. It has nothing to do with pretending. It's just an energy to just be nice, to be forgiving, to be compassionate, to be loving when you've been hurt, to try your best not to take that out on other people, to not carry that with you, to like raise your frequency, to realize that life is just this moment of experiencing things and not judging people choose their own things, whether they're single or they're that, and to not feel, to overcome insecurities and to feel good about yourself, and to not attach ego to any of these things, and just flow through life and go with the moment. And then once you change all these things about you, if you're always ever changing, ever growing, you will have ever success in things, and the rejections won't bother you. You can't control another person, and that's what all of these things are. That's what prejudging people, that's what going in with presuppositions, that's what going in with generalizations, that's what a negative attitude, a guarded attitude, you're insecure, feeling rejection, having an ego attached to it. All it is you're trying to control this person, whether you want sex from them and they don't want to give it to you, or you're trying to control a relationship that they're not feeling, or trying to control a dynamic that you can't accept, it just isn't meant to be, and move on. That's what all that is just trying to control. And once you accept that and you can move forward, then you're good. Can I fucking please stop recording now? Random. There you go. Past the end with Mark and RanDoM. Relationship advice for men and women. Past the end with Mark and RanDoM. I don't know what session this is. All right. God bless you all. All love.